All right, let's talk about one of the biggest struggles out there for any entrepreneur. How in the world do you build a real, profitable business and at the same time build a massive audience? I mean, it feels like you're trying to play two completely different games at once. But what if there isn't two playbooks? What if there's just one? Well, today, we're going to break down that single, unified strategy, pulling insights from the absolute best in the game. You've probably heard this a million times, right? Alex Hormozi just nails it here. It's that default mindset so many of us have. If you want to succeed, you just have to outwork everyone. Just sheer brute force effort. And look, hard work is absolutely part of the deal, but it's not the whole story. Not even close.
So what if all that raw effort, that brute force, isn't the real secret? What if the key is actually applying that effort with surgical precision? That's what we're about to do. We're going to dissect the playbook of some creator CEO titans. We're talking Alex and Layla Hormozi and Dan Martell to see exactly how they combine that massive action with brilliant systems.
So where do we even begin? Well, it's not with the latest viral trend or some fancy camera. Nope, the real starting line, the absolute foundation for everything, is earning the right to even be heard. It's all about building undeniable authority. Think about it. Before you give someone a second of your time, before you click on their video or listen to their advice, there's this little question that pops into your head, almost unconsciously. It's like a gatekeeper. Do you know what it is? And there it is. Alex Hormozi puts it perfectly. This one question, why should I listen to you, is the invisible filter that every single piece of your content has to pass through. If you don't have a good answer, it doesn't matter how great your advice is. Nobody's listening. Because in this world, credibility isn't just important. It's the actual currency of attention. So how do you get that credibility? You follow this incredibly simple but powerful model. You don't start by talking. You start by doing. Go get a result, any result, no matter how small. And then, and only then, have you earned the right to talk about it. Your results are your proof. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is make it, then talk about it.
And this right here shows the difference perfectly. On one side, you've got the guru, preaching from a mountaintop, telling people, here's how to build a following. But on the other side, you have the practitioner, just sharing their journey. Here's how I built my following. See the shift? The first one invites people to challenge you. The second one, it just invites them to listen. You're not an expert, you're a guide. And your story? Nobody can argue with your story. It's yours.
Okay, so you've earned your stripes. You've got the credibility from doing the work. You've earned the right to speak. But now what? How do you take that one voice and turn it into a roar that everyone can hear? How do you scale it? Well, that's where the content engine comes in. Let's take a look at where Alex Hormozi started. He was doing about 3 core videos a week, repurposing them a few times. That's 7 total pieces of content. And, by most standards, that's pretty good, right? And the results were fine. It was steady growth, but it was slow. That feeling of pushing a giant boulder uphill.
Then everything changed. He had a conversation with Grant Cardone, and it sparked this radical shift. He didn't just double his output. He went from 7 pieces a week to 80. And the result? Well, that boulder he was pushing turned into a full-blown avalanche. His audience, his leads, his impact, everything just went vertical. And the lesson here is kind of a gut punch. A lot of us are doing the right things, we're just doing them at a laughably small scale.
I know what you're thinking right now. 80 pieces a week? Are you kidding me? I can barely keep up with my email. It sounds completely impossible. It sounds like the fastest way to burn out and just quit. And this is the exact point where most people stop. But the answer isn't to work 24/7. The answer, the secret that unlocks this kind of scale, is systems.
An 80-piece-a-week content engine runs on one thing, and one thing only: time. And to get more time, we got to turn to the absolute master of buying it back, the SaaS legend, Dan Martell.
Okay, this next part is a total mind-bender. It goes against everything we're taught. We're told to hire people to grow the business. Dan Martell says that's backwards. You hire people to buy back your time. Because when you free yourself from all the tasks that drain you, you naturally have more time for the big picture stuff that only you can do. Growth isn't the goal of hiring. It's just the natural side effect. Yeah, but what about that little voice in your head, right? The one that says, nobody can do this as well as me? That's the perfectionist trap that keeps so many entrepreneurs small. Dan Martell's fix is this simple mantra. Realizing that 80% done by someone else is fantastic isn't about lowering your standards. It's strategic. It's what lets you focus on the 20% of your work that actually creates 80% of the value.
But can you actually afford this? Let's just run the numbers real quick. Let's say you make $100,000 a year.
That breaks down to about $50 an hour. Now, for delegation to be a smart move, you want at least a 4 times return on your time. So you take that $50 and divide it by 4. That gives you $12.50. That's your buyback rate. Any task that's clogging up your day that you could pay someone less than $12.50 an hour to do, you are literally losing money by doing that task yourself.
Okay, let's tackle the 2 big roadblocks right now. First up, I don't have time to train anyone. The solution is so simple it's brilliant. It's called the camcorder method. The next time you do a repetitive task, just record your screen and talk through what you're doing. That's it. That's your training video. And the second excuse, but they won't do it as well as me. For that, we've got the 10-80-10 rule.
This rule is the secret to scaling your content without losing your voice. Think of it like this. You are the architect for that first 10%. You come up with the core idea, the vision, then you step back, and your team comes in to do the heavy lifting. That's the 80%, the editing, scheduling, all that stuff. And then right at the end, you come back in for that final 10% to add your unique polish, the final touch that makes it truly yours. You stay in control of what matters, and you delegate the rest.
Okay, you've got the credibility. You've got the systems to scale like a beast, but there is one final piece of the puzzle. It's a brutal gauntlet you have to run, because the best engine in the world is totally useless if the driver won't turn the key, especially when things get tough. This is all about the inner game.
Man, if you're an entrepreneur, this quote from Leila Hormozi hits hard. It's the ultimate paradox, right? The second you finally block off time to create, the business decides to catch on fire. An employee quits, a client is freaking out, a system breaks. The amateur uses that as an excuse to cancel. The professional films anyway.
And this is where Leila just flips the script entirely. She elevates creating content from something you should do to something you must do. It's not just about marketing anymore. It's about leadership. You are setting the standard for courage in your entire company. If you're not willing to do the uncomfortable thing of getting on camera, how can you possibly ask your team to do the hard, uncomfortable things they need to do every day?
And this is how it all comes together. It's not just a straight line, it's a flywheel that builds on itself. You start with action to earn credibility. That credibility gives your content engine a reason to exist. You scale that engine by buying back your time with systems, and you keep the whole thing spinning with relentless consistency. And here's the magic. More action leads to more credibility, which fuels a bigger engine, which demands more consistency. And the whole thing just starts spinning faster and faster, creating unstoppable momentum.
So, look, the playbook is right here, in front of you. It's not about just talking, it's about proving it first. It's not about just working harder, it's about working smarter by leveraging others. And it demands the guts to show up, especially when it's the last thing you want to do. The question isn't what's the secret anymore. The only question left is, are you willing to pay the price?